Welcome to the Mitten Music, your favorite podcast about music in relation to the great state of Michigan. Jeff and myself, Ryan, we got a great episode up for you. Check it out.
All right, Ryan, we've got another band today, this time on the east side of the state. It's been a while since we've hit east side band. So excited to always reach out other places in the state. And today we've got the band Adaboy.
From Bay City.
Bay City, that's what they call home, even though they are scattered amongst different cities across the state. And Mike, I don't know if you want to start us off. You're kind of the lead of this project years ago, so I'll let you kick it off and introduce yourself, and then everyone wants to introduce themselves and
what you do in the band, and
that'd be awesome. Cool. Well, first off, thanks Ryan and Jeff for having us on. We've been following you guys for a while now. Sweet. And we're honored to be on here. You've been covering a lot of bands that we follow too in Michigan, and just to kind of get our name in the mix of the best music in Michigan, that we kind of feel like that's we're finally starting to introduce ourselves to Michigan this year, and so we're excited. So just thank you very much starting off.
Rock and roll, man.
Glad to have you on.
We feel privileged more than you do, I feel like. We're so excited to have you. Any band that wants to talk, it's awesome. We love it.
It's very cool. Well, Adaboy has been a thing for about maybe 15 years. It started when I was like in my 23. Gone through 8 different variations of the band. I believe we're only about 13 days old.
Yep.
With this edition, so
lineup, I guess this would be the first interview that we get to introduce our new drummer, Mr. Aaron Lank, from Vassar, and so we're welcoming him to the team.
Hell yeah!
Thank you.
Yeah, we're very excited. Onward and forward, and it's good. So we just been working really hard in the last couple of years. Where we have Vincent Modern, with the John Lennon glasses over there.
Hi guys.
We call him the Manifester. He's the Manifester, and so he kind of acts as our record label, and he directs us, and making sure that we do the right steps to keep the project moving forward.
Sweet.
Joe Belbaugh, the other Viking Storm over there, he handles a lot of our booking and a lot of our arrangements as far as vocal harmonies, and a lot of musical arrangements too. Even though the music arrangements come from all 4 of us, we really do let Joe kind of take the helm as far as like building those vocal harmony blocks. So it's helped with creating our sound in the last year or so. We're a band of actually 4 lead singers. So it's nice that you recognize me as the talking head, but I feel like I'm only 25% of this unit. So we're excited. We're really building the business. We've created the music this last year, and now this year we're really starting to book shows to get it out to Michiganders. We only booked like 14 or 15 shows last year, and we're over 40 this year already.
Wow.
So we're already booked into 2025. So we're kind of pushing pretty hard.
Yeah, 14, 15. That's not terrible by any means, but 40 is a ton.
Yeah.
That is quite the effort you guys have put into this. Holy smokes.
Running races.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? You're doing what you love. You're trying to grow it.
Pound pavement to get somewhere, right?
Pound the pavement, exactly. Get as many shows in anywhere you can.
It's interesting you mentioned like now it's time to grow the business, right? Because the band, there's a business aspect to it, and you got to hit that part. You guys said you play the music, that's what you do and what you're selling, but you got to build that up first, and then get it out on the road. If you don't do it with enough planning, or you get ahead of yourself, then it might not work out too well. Right. So got to have the product first and then run the business. Curious though, Mike, so you mentioned, it's been going on a long time as far as the project. So and now you're kind of at a point where you guys are really pushing it. How is that evolution over these eight now on the 8th iteration of this kind of led to this point?
Honestly, I want to let the other guys speak too, because they're just as articulate, if not more, than I am. But it feels as if like the last 3 years we've kind of identified our mission statement. And so Adaboy it's a familiar story that everybody knows, and it's about overcoming any obstacles, and we know that mental health is taking a really big seat right now in pop awareness. And we kind of feel like our timing is very appropriate with us identifying what our mission statement is. And all 4 men in this band has overcome drug addiction, alcoholism. I mean, really, you could probably keep going with the list.
Yeah, keep adding on, pile it on.
But it's about overcoming. And so Adaboy is a mantra for anybody who's ever overcome anything.
I was reading that in one of the articles I was reading about you guys a little bit earlier, and I thought that was such a good idea to equate a mission statement with the band. Like for someone like myself, like I hear a song, it's catchy, or it catches my ear, I like it, I kind of see who the band is, maybe I've never heard them, I'm doing some research, and I like learning about it. So having that out there, like for me, sticks you apart of everybody else, because there's not many bands that are like, that kind of come forward with this mission statement about this is about what we are, and this is what our music's all about, this is who we are. Bands might say that, but it might be cryptic, or it might be really vague, and like I think it's so cool that you just put that out there, and like, this is us, man. It's a differentiator to me, and it makes me remember you guys more than just any other band. That's
Thanks,
cool,
man. Well, we're music educators, and
yeah, you especially, right? You teach.
Yeah, I'm a public school elementary music teacher right now.
You're the second one. Just a couple months ago, we had Lucius Fox. Jeremy, it was also a public school teacher too. I can't remember what grades though. It might have been junior high. I couldn't remember. But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it kind of feels like you bring a lot of those same values from the classroom that you're teaching these kids. Because it's a music teacher, but we are teaching them coping skills, life lessons. All inside of all the music lessons too. And so it seems like the platform has kind of revealed itself to where in the last couple of years, these foundational things can apply to a positive band.
It doesn't always have to be children either.
Yeah,
right.
Fair,
right.
Totally.
We've had grown men and women come up to us after our shows, like crying, giving us their testimonies that the words in our music have like really put an impact on them.
Good. It's got to feel good to hear that, right?
Well, you guys have wrote some really good lyrics too. They really touch people, and they really make them think as well. You kind of put them out there. Some lines are a little vague, but for the most part, you're right on par with what you really want to say. These guys write some really great lyrics. I'm really happy to be a part of it.
That's good to hear.
Big time.
Yeah, it's coming from a very real place. We're authentic, and it's coming from a genuine place. It's not an act. It's not a facade. It's genuinely who we are. And that's one of the, it's a special characteristic of Adaboy, I believe, is that we genuinely, mutually admire, respect, and love one another. And that translates into the music.
That's to me, that's rock and roll today, man.
Well said.
Sum it up right there. To me, everyone else has their own opinion of what rock and roll is or whatever, but I love hearing that. That's great. That's a great way to say it. Thanks, Finn.
Well, it's like speaking on different things too. Like, so for instance, Mike was talking about when the band first started. I was actually Mike's first bass player when he actually made this the band. And then, we kind of went separate ways, different projects, but like watching the whole thing cultivate and grow from different lineup to different lineup to different lineup. And then I rejoined later.
Yeah.
Mike bribed me with a steak dinner. That's besides the point. But anyways, and then jumping through that, like, and then looking and like, like I had always had stuff written too, and I've always been really self-conscious about, like my own writing, and I never had really like an avenue to get it out there. And then like talking with him, he's like, dude, bring it all to the table. So then we started working with each other, and then this stuff just kind of started happening on its own. Like it was almost like we didn't have to try. It just kind of just fell out of our brain onto paper.
Well, the ambition
And
you guys have with all the songs you're writing and creating designs for shirts for every song, and this, like, it sounds like you have a lot of stuff to play around with, a lot of ideas going on.
We're probably into our third album already.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
And we've only released 2 songs.
Right? So you got
Wow.
a bank. You got a bank in there, don't you?
Nice.
Yeah, we plan to be around for a while. Yeah, that's
So you do it. I don't want to hit on this real quick. You talk about the album. So you do have the full length that was out.
2019.
Yeah. I
Yep.
was gonna say right before the pandemic, right? So you guys
That's
released
right.
that, and then now you've released a couple songs this year, or I think the one was maybe the end of last year, beginning of this year, and then you just released
June
the
1st,
latest
Man
song.
I Am.
Yep. So what's in the works here coming up with an album? You talk about the album. You got 3 albums worth of music. What's your guys' plan to get something, more of a compilation out next?
I think the plan is, so far, if I remember correctly, we're going to stick with the singles until we have, enough release as to where like what we might not have released yet, we can compile and make the album and then release said album.
Yeah.
So everybody can have it all on one thing. Because like, yeah, as we've done the research, and like we went to Nashville and talked to like PC&G and Universal, and like those guys were talking about like nobody really just sells albums anymore. It's all, it's a single here and a single there. It's like a single, I think it was like every 5 to 6 weeks, guys, I want to say is what they said. So
Yeah.
like, something like that, like, because the attention span of the normal human being seems to be, they get an album, then it probably just sits there. So the marketing has changed a lot.
And that makes sense. And we talked about this and within the last couple episodes, singles versus an EP versus an album and what you like. And I remember I voiced my opinion like, well, I would love to have an album just because I can get it all at once. And it's like, getting the whole season of a show in one binge-worthy weekend. It's like similar to that. But I do see how it's changed. And obviously you see a lot of just singles being dropped or 2 or 3 songs being dropped over the course of a year or two. And it's just a different thing. I think I think a lot of us are roughly the same age. We grew up with that. You get an album, the CD, the record, the cassette, whatever. It's the whole album right there. You might have heard 1 or 2 songs on the radio, but you get the whole album at once
with your hands.
Yeah, it's just a different thing these days. And I'm glad you guys got some feedback and tapping into that, because whatever is going to help you do that, get that little extra oomph into what you're doing. Why not? Whatever. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we recognize that there's not one right way to do things.
Yeah.
I think you have to first, identify as a band. You got to identify your mission statement. Like what are you trying to say to the people? And so every band's road is different. We think for us, releasing a song every 4 to 6 weeks, and then keeping relevancy and just. Because if we just keep releasing a song for the next year and a half, I mean,
really, you're always talking about something new that you have just put out. You're constantly, even 4 6. You let's say you release your first single, 4 to 6 weeks later, you release your second one. You can still refer to the last single as new, and then you just release this other. You always have new stuff coming out to talk about. It just doesn't stop. That's kind of cool.
What's the quote, Vince, that you like to say? Nothing.
What's that?
Nothing sells your.
Oh, nothing sells your back catalog like your new material. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, and
I like that.
I think it does help that you guys have a full album also right now, right? So you have more material, because I've always struggled with that. If it's a new band and they're just releasing a song every once in a while, I'm like, I like what I'm hearing. I want more.
I
want more than 3 songs.
Now I can at least for you guys go back
into
into the catalog and find something. But for some bands, like if that's the strategy, like
they might not have that.
I might get another song in 6 weeks, but I'm not getting enough. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not getting that full length. Yeah. So it's kind of this weird dichotomy to me to get there. But it's funny. It's kind of a mixed blend, because we do talk about the album, but there was always singles. And a lot of those singles came out before the album did. You got 1 or 2 singles back in the day, right? It was kind of the teaser. Hey, this thing's coming. Here's the first song off the album or the second song, and then bam, you get the material. Now it's just a little longer lead time to get the full thing, and now you're just getting more songs.
more bang for the buck
along the way.
Yeah, more bang for the buck for sure.
Is that why Boston wrote Foreplay?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just it's like the foreshadowing before that. No,
right.
Never mind.
Yeah. It's definitely a different strategy, but it's cool because you guys have a backlog of sounds like other material that you're not ready to release yet, but you could play that stuff at your shows.
And we do. We're playing all the songs that are not released yet. So the true Ada fans
Oh, look at that.
really
That's a list.
know our music.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Aaron's been working his butt off lately. He's got to learn like 60 songs in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a lot of, he's got to get up to speed, right? Real quick.
Yeah. Lots of practice. Early mornings.
Ooh. You got to, obviously, I'm guessing you have a good practice space that if you are early morning, you're not bugging anybody. Or maybe you are and you don't care.
Well,
I don't know.
I could show you, but I won't move the camera. The drum set sitting to the left of me has one cymbal has a scarf on it. This one has socks on it. Those ones have a couple t-shirts on them. So I'm doing the best I can for the neighbors up here.
Yeah, it looks like you got some soundproofing behind you. So you're doing what you can.
Yep, all the walls in here, all like that. So
good stuff.
We're holding it down and keeping it cool at the same time.
Awesome.
I'm managing.
Good.
He's
How do you guys how do you guys get practices going?
Well,
we do get together about once a week right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Individual practicing at home usually.
Yeah.
And then bring the band together and see where we need to tighten the screws up a little bit.
Cool.
Where do you guys practice? Like, where's the space? Where's the place?
Kind of revolving right now.
Between Mike and Joe's.
Yeah, with it being hot, I have a space in my basement, so it's nice and cool down there. So that's nice.
Wasn't there a venue that you were kind of given access to practice there sometimes?
Dude,
the Vault.
You're doing some homework.
I couldn't think of the name. It was the Vault. Yes, I just remember you spoke highly of it.
Ryan, that's legit, dude.
Hey,
we
sometimes I can.
You're doing some
act like I know what I'm talking about.
You just had your Nardwuar moment, Mike.
So weird.
You ever heard of that guy?
I feel like I have, but I can't picture it. What was that from?
His name's Nardwuar. He's he just kind of meets famous people and he just pulls facts out of thin air. And they just do basically what Mike just did. They're like,
nice.
Like, who do you work for? Who do you know?
You got to do your research, right? Got to do your research.
But yeah, it sounds like you had some practice time at the Vault sometime. That's cool. That's always a cool thing.
We're
practice at a venue.
Yeah, it's the Vault's a really cool, fairly new Tri-City venue. It's pretty large. It used to be a UAW or
it was like a banquet
center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's legit though.
Yeah, he's been really kind to us. We played there 4 or 5 times. We just had our release show there. We headlined it. We're the second local original band to headline that venue.
Nice. Cool. How many does that hold? How big a venue?
Over 1,000.
Oh, really?
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's a good size. That's like getting up there with the intersection here on the west side a little bit. So yeah, that's cool.
So is Vince kind of finding out places for you guys to go play? Is that part of what Vince is that kind of part you're helping out with? It just sounds like that might be the manifester.
Well, Joe's primarily our booking contact, off of our website. Mike does some booking as well. And primarily my focus as of recent has been our Nashville presence. And so what's coming up for us in July. So the 6th, we're out in Ludington at a place called The Sticks with an AC/DC tribute. And then the next day, July 7th, will be a travel day for us. And then July 8th, we're looking forward to a private showcase down in Nashville. And then we have the following 2 days, the 9th and the 10th, with recording with Joe Baldridge at Ocean Way Recording Studios.
Cool. Sweet. So what's this?
Yeah.
First, I want to find out what's this private showcase. What is that? Give me a little more about that.
Someone
what does that
hired
mean?
you. A celebrity
Well,
hired
it's
you.
essentially what it is we put together a showcase. We pick a list of tunes that we're going to play for industry people. So whether they be management, promoters, anything like that,
Whoa.
you know, that sort of thing. And we invite them, and we have kind of like a private, you know, it's like having like you're smooging or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
you're talking, hanging out, and then we get to play music for them so they can see what we're all about and what we're doing.
I haven't heard any other bands say they've done something like that. That's cool.
No, I mean we've heard of contests and stuff that
Contests we've heard, but not
that type of thing where they're playing with industry people. But that's interesting. So
I
how do you get that thing set up? Like how is that? It's not like you just maybe
We
you
have
maybe
a
eventually
mutual
you just
friend.
called everybody up and said, "Hey, you want to come listen to us or what?" Or is that or you got to have a connection there to kind of get the lead?
Well, there
We're in
is
a band.
there is some favor. We do have a friend who lived in Saginaw for a long time, and a former bandmate of mine, and he moved down to Nashville, and he was teaching photography, videography class at a community college down there. And so he relocated to Nashville, and him and his wife own a hair salon, and in the back he has like a photography room slash like
Jam room,
practice
it's
room,
like
but it's like a jam room.
legit.
And he rents it out. Well, I mean, we're getting the friend discount, you know, but
For sure.
he's really cool. He's gonna take photos and let us, you know, throw a party basically there. And so we're inviting like the CEO of PCG, Bernard Porter. You know, hopefully Joe Baldridge will be able to come. We have the drummer from
Gerald
Myron
Bergdorf.
Elkton.
From
Yep.
Myron who?
Myron Elkton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So his drummer is one of my best friends.
Oh really?
Cool.
I grew up with him. Yep. And so he's going to be in town. He's going to be flying in from Europe off a tour with Myron Elkton the next day, and he's going to come
Dang.
the next day. So yeah, Myron Elkton's doing some good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Talk about blowing up real
We've,
quick.
we've talked about them.
He had a nice elevation. Was it 2023? Yeah, beginning of 2023. So
Dang, nice.
nice.
So we haven't heard about.
I like Nashville Money. That's my favorite
Yeah.
song.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say Nashville. Nashville is where you guys have. I feel like you've gone there to record some, right? Some of the songs that we're hearing, the singles, were they all recorded in Nashville? The ones you have ready right now?
Yes.
They were.
That was. I think
Yep.
that's a cool thing to do. You can always, you know, find a local place to record or anywhere in Michigan, but you guys decided to go to Nashville, which I think that's brilliant. I was just in Nashville a couple weeks ago for the first time. I had never been there. I absolutely loved it.
Nice.
And it's just just like everything just oozes music there. It's just like oozing out of every corner of every street everywhere. Like that's the place. Like even if you don't live there, that's such a good idea to go record there. There's probably, you know, a lot larger pool of people to work with or get feedback from, you know, than Bay City or Grand Rapids or even Detroit. So I think that's cool. That's such a good idea. How did
Yep.
Nashville get connected in this? Was that Vince? Is that something you brought to the table, or was it okay? Because how did that come about? Why Nashville? Just because of all that? What I just said, or
Well, what happened is when I was extended the audition to come fill in the need for a guitar player, we really hit it off right away. I mean, there was such an immediate connection. It was undeniable, and it was, you know, really something special and exciting. So we rehearsed for a bit, and then we did our first show like a month or two later. It was May 21st, and the show just it went really, really good, and I was very encouraged. And so the very next day, the following day, I called up a producer whom I had worked with over the years, and we'd had success getting songs on the radio. And so I told him what I had going on, and I sent him the links for him to check out the band. And I remember specifically saying the song "Call Me Love" on their 2019 Rhino record. Like, to me, that song really is probably the best representation of these guys, and they were in the alternative folk genre.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
I
he and I
agree.
got to talking, and we started we started formulating a game plan right there. We were looking at dates, and we selected a date November 4th for the Castle Recording Studios, and so we were looking to see if they were open. We were checking with Joe Baldridge and just getting things going right away, because that first show that we did afterwards, Mike and I were hanging out and just talking business and talking about doing things the right way. And so that's the thing about Adaboy, is wanting to put our best foot forward. Some people, I've heard it said that we exude excellence, and so that's what we want to do. We want to, again, put our best foot forward, but we believe that we can make irresistible music, right? And we believe that quality music will always be attractive. And so that's the whole reason. So we wanted to go down to the studios where, all the great ones have recorded, Johnny Cash, Brad Paisley, Carrie Underwood, Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, Bon Jovi, Megadeth. The list goes on and on and on, right? And
Train of Consequence.
And Joe Baldridge, he's a 20+ Grammy Award winner. He really knows his stuff. He teaches at Belmont University, and he's since become like the head administrator of Ocean Way Studios. And so he's very, very busy, and it's hard for him to find time to be able to engineer side projects like this, And so he told us, the last time I talked to him, he told me, he said, "You know what? I believe in what you guys are doing, and I love it, and I just want to be able to help you." So, I mean, that just means the world to us, that he would want to be involved in helping us. And so it really gives us a great advantage and favor, as Mike was talking about, being able to work with someone, with such a skill set and such a history.
That is cool. When you said exuding excellence and what you guys try to do, I have to imagine that the overcoming of a lot of obstacles in your lives, and hopefully not having those obstacles in your life today, is helping you put your best foot forward and exude excellence, because, a lot of bands, they get trapped in a lot of that stuff, slows them down. Like if it's just partying and getting crazy all the time, it's going to slow you the heck down. You're not going to want to practice as much. You're not going to be able to get in the studio as much. You're going to be spending all your money. Like if you get that stuff out of the way, Joe, if you get that stuff out of the way, you got one direction to go, man, and it's exuding excellence right there, right? I like it. It makes sense to me.
That's a good point. Yeah. And that's another thing, Adaboy, we want to be remembered as the most cooperative, the most professional, the easiest to get along with band.
Love it.
Like anytime you go and play live, there's going to be adversity. There's going to be difficulty. There's going to be challenges. So we really do our best to prepare ourselves, to have our minds made up in advance how we're going to handle it, right? We're going to overcome these problems. We'll do it gracefully and with a smile on our face.
Yeah. Well, that's the second time I think we've heard about the professionalism. Like, we've heard, I'm trying to think who it was, but anybody, somebody else mentioned that, and how they've seen other bands not do that
in the Valley Below,
and hasn't been in their favor, right? Because they haven't, and they've seen that, and over their history, they've learned from seeing others' mistakes, right? And said, hey, this is how we need to do this. We're going to do it right. We're going to show up on time. We're going to, or get there early, and we're going to, if we're opening up for a band or whatever it may be, we're going to do it right. And then it's going to pay dividends the long term for us, because we're doing the right way.
Yeah. Speaking on doing things with excellence. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're
like one of the things that we have, Vince has spoken on our connection. One of the things that we have is we have like a no holds barred policy. No subject is off limits. We're willing to face talk about the hard things right away. Like, and I feel like that's something that's really kind of helped us, keep that connection really special, because that's a lot of times, and I'm sure you guys know, like you get in a group of people and like you start working with people, and there's always something, right? There's always that weird elephant in the room. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be something really goofy or something super serious, but it's one of those situations, like we don't have that, because if one person notices something, they speak up. instantly. Like, and we discuss it, you know, and that's what makes it so easy for us to get work done. I feel like, because we know that everybody is in that same headspace. Like, everybody wants to, you know, accomplish the same thing the same way.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
cool. That's super important. So I think I'm gonna jump a little bit and try to tie this in a little. So now you've just brought in Aaron. So how did that process look to make sure you're bringing in someone that connects? Obviously, you only know as much as you know, and maybe there's some things, but how did that process go? And I guess you can even relate to any other iterations that have happened with this band, right? How does that process go of bringing in a member and making sure that that's the right fit?
I like to speak on that if I could, just because I think Aaron and I have the longest history.
Oh,
So
do.
I went to Reese for a long time, and then he was from Vassar. Reese and Vassar are very close to one another. Um, and I remember in our 20s, I wasn't in a band at the time, but Aaron he was a singing drummer. But he was playing harder music at the time, and I remember watching him at a show and just impressing the heck out of me. I'm like, okay, that's the type of drummer I want to be, because I'm actually a drummer too.
Sweet.
And so I was like, I really looked up to Aaron without him even realizing it. And I remember him forging. I remember for him forging his own pathway, and our paths never crossed because he had his project, his band that he was investing in. He was the face of this band. He was creating his own business, all through his life. But then I was kind of doing the same thing. And one of the coolest things about this band, Adaboy, is that we consciously reject ego on purpose, and we speak it into the atmosphere so that everybody's always in the same playing field. We reject it because we laugh about this, because these four men in this band, we're accomplished musicians because we're a little bit older, you know, but we've dedicated our life to our craft. And so the fact that we're like, you know what, let's join forces. We love the idea of getting into bands like from the 60s and 70s where it would be like, I'm not saying we're a super group, but like people would join bands like, you know, Steele's, Crosby, and Nash. Like, these are great songwriters, great lyricists, great vocalists. And
Traveling Wilburys.
they came together. And there's a reason why that music during that time is timeless.
Yeah.
It just doesn't go away. And because these artists are setting their ego to the side and saying that what's best for the song. As where there's a trend today where there's a bunch of lead singers with the band name is their name, and then they have studio musicians behind them.
Yeah, right.
You can create great music with a bunch of songwriters in there, but we believe that there's something special about creating a group where you can put your egos aside and say, okay, guys, I trust all of you. We're all great, you know, good enough musicians to be able to hone this song. So it's Aaron and I, our paths were going, you know, side by side for a lot of years. And then now we're like converging forces. And so we're literally the same age. We're only a couple months apart. We've been creating our own music for a long time. He was the obvious choice because he's the one who, well, for one, he never gave up. Like a lot of the people our age have, life has happened to them.
Yeah.
You know, stubborn.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you got family, you have kids. Like that's why, like a lot of the old members of Adaboy have had life happen to them, where they're like, I can't make the commitment that, you know. One of the things that we talk about is a lot of people have underestimate other people's will. Like you don't know other people's will to succeed.
Yeah, true.
And when you underestimate that, usually it's kind of like those rocket boosters will kind of fall off as you're still climbing for something.
That's interesting. I
think
never even thought about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, we
the
all
will
kind
to
of reach.
succeed.
We're
I
all
always
kind of
thought like
reaching.
I'm gonna fail a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah,
reaching.
so Aaron and I,
And
Well,
my middle
sounds-
yeah,
name's Michael
it's
too.
pretty cool how it
How
panned
funny is
out.
that?
Is it? You're both have the
Yeah.
same middle name?
Oh, mine. His first name and my middle
Oh,
name.
there you go. Yeah. With the birthdays close to each other, knowing each other for a long time, drummers.
Yeah. And we played some of our first shows together. Actually, I believe it.
Cool.
That's cool.
That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been pretty intense joining this band because it was like jumping on a moving train, like Mike would say. They had their mission statement, like he said. They have their plan of action, and they were just pretty much setting them up for somebody to help them knock them down. So I feel like I'm doing my best and bringing the fire, hopefully.
Sweet. Yeah. So Aaron, for you on the flip side, what made you jump on the train? Like, was it just the right timing, or what?
Yeah, I think it's probably just the timing. I'm constantly writing music. I was always producing stuff with my other band. I did a couple solo albums. I did some music with an animation company.
Ooh.
So I did a lot of studio work in the last 5 to 8 years, probably. And I really wanted to get back out there and play live again. And this opportunity just kind of popped out of thin air. And Mike called me up on the phone, and we'd see each other at shows and talk about, oh man, we need to do a recording someday. We need to get together and do this. But most musicians say that when they're at shows together, but nobody ever really takes the initiative. They just kind of go, so and so wanted to do that, and nobody ever does anything.
I mean, even just Jeff and I, as podcasters, like that's a fun term to throw around when you're at a concert. Hey, I got my own podcast. Anyway, we met some guy and he wanted to hang out so bad. He lives the town over and he's messaging us all the time. And like, we just met him through, being at a concert together. Now, obviously we weren't comparing instruments and wanting to record together, but we were talking about having him on the show or something like that. So it's just funny. It just resonated with me. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Creative types are funny people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're the best though.
I totally agree. Totally agree. And yeah, your professionalism, I can just, as you guys speak, I can just hear it. It makes sense. We've talked to a lot of bands now. We're going on we're into our 3rd year. Pretty good. Lots and lots of bands. In just the few minutes that we started talking, I could just tell the caliber of professionalism you guys have. Not comparing you to the other bands, but kinda, and maybe it comes with age, maybe it comes with the will or, the mission statement and what you're actually looking to get out of doing what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, I can just see it. I can hear it like quickly. I can just tell. And the quality of the music that you guys recorded in Nashville, it's like, whoa, this is good shit. This sounds, I geek out about the recording process and how you record and instruments and gear and all that stuff. And I'm just here and I'm like, dang, this is freaking legit. So good freaking job.
These guys have great ears, man. I can tell. You just play a little something, and you'll stop in your tracks and be like, hey, I know you were just doing something, but do that again. And then we're off and running. It's crazy. I haven't really had the chance to sit in a room with these guys yet and write as this setup yet, I've been just learning the songs right now. So there's going to be a whole nother, I don't want to say the sound's going to change, but it might a little bit.
Yeah. You're going to add in another person.
It won't be worse. It should just be different,
Yeah. I don't think Mike asked you to be in the band to drag him down at all.
Yeah, no, he's been lifting me up, man.
Sweet.
Yeah. These are good dudes.
Good. So speaking of that, like, you guys do all come from different projects, different things that you guys have been doing over the years. You mentioned you really do have 4 singers. If you put you guys separately in separate bands, you could all be the lead singers, it sounds like. And you've been in different projects. So how do all those influences come together into this mixture? Because I do think Adaboy is a big blend of a lot of different things. I'm hearing different sounds. I hear a little country. I hear definitely a little 80s rock. I hear a little Christian music in there to some level, just a little bit of sound, but it's the blend. Like every song is slightly different, and it's not like I'm listening to a band that just come up with this formula they're just going to continue with, right? Constantly. It seems like you guys will constantly be evolving and coming up with new, but it's good music, and it's let's put it this way, it's very accessible to everyone. I think
I would agree.
I think most people in the world can gravitate to this. So I think what you guys are partnering with some good people that know how to get that out to the world, better. And so I do think it's very accessible. But I'm just interested, how do you guys work on all your backgrounds and come together to make this mix?
Speaking to what you just said about the blend and how one thing has something different than the other, and each song has its own unique thing. One thing that I've always valued, and I've shared this with the guys before, to be a musician to a certain extent, you have to be a chameleon of sorts, right? It's no matter what you're doing, you try to do your best to make sure you're actually physically, mentally, and spiritually delivering what you're trying to portray. And playing the same genre for every song doesn't always work that out. You can, like, I don't know, you guys might have been at concerts where you hear some like B-side stuff from an artist and it's like that song doesn't sound like that's how they meant to do it. So those are typically the ones you don't gravitate towards. Whereas, like, Mike had touched earlier on, we play for the song, and certain songs, depending on whether it's words or riff motif or just energy of everything that's happening, that changes the vibe entirely, no matter what you're doing. And so that's why I feel like, in my opinion, like that's why each song has its own different specialty. Like the next song we're releasing, New Strings, kind of has some like police / reggae elements to it.
Ooh.
And so, there's that aspect, whereas, like Man I Am, like we think, anthemic, big rock.
Right. Yeah.
It definitely anthem. Yep. I can hear it.
And so, like, you have that, and then, Time Voices Run, a song about overcoming. It's definitely got that alternative kind of country folk rockish ordeal to it. But the solo, Vince, I'm Not Gonna Take Your Thunder. The solo is kind of derived from Purple Rain by Prince. Like that had been spoken on. So, like, just the sound and Vince, you might want to touch on that later. But that was something that had been discussed. And like the more and more I listen to it, I can hear it even more every single time. So it's like, and as a person who is a part of releasing that tune, like that even makes it more special every time. Every time you listen, you hear one little extra nuance, even though you wrote the song and you probably heard it a million times. Like it's like watching a movie you like, you see a different part that you just never really triggered your brain.
For sure.
So
right.
There's that aspect.
Also, I'd like to point out that I think it starts with the band, right? So to have 4 guys who are in agreement to having the widest appeal possible, right? So you want to appeal to toddlers as well as grandparents. So because genres can be very limiting and they can be very, very narrow. So to have a group of guys who are in agreement to have the widest, vast appeal, that alone is noteworthy. I think it's special and it's unique. It's kind of rare anymore.
I can attest to the toddler part. My youngest is 5, and I've been listening to Adaboy quite a bit upstairs the last several weeks. And he will tell me, I listen to lots of music upstairs. He will tell me if he doesn't like what I'm playing. If he says nothing, he loves it and he's listening. He doesn't say anything because he's like really listening. So you have to wait till the song's done to talk to him about it. Every single Adaboy song. Today he's putting together that Adaboy, what Adaboy is, and that it's your guys' music. So he's slowly putting that together because he doesn't get the term Adaboy at all, right? So I had to, and how it's spelled and everything. So I'm kind of showing him that. But he's 5 and he's digging it.
Yeah.
He loves it.
That's great.
So cool.
That's so encouraging to hear.
Right?
Thank you.
That's so cool.
We can retire now. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
You got a young fan. You got a fan that's going to stick with you guys for a long time. There you go.
Well, I use my, in my classroom, we have a song of the day. And so
Cool.
like the first 15 minutes of my classroom, it's always the same routine. right? Because like the kid, I get every classroom in the whole school coming to my classroom, and so it's always good practice, classroom management to do the same thing to kind of get the kids settled in,
A routine,
into their new classroom to make sure that their mindset is ready for music. And we have a segment of, it's the song of the day, and I will literally play my music for the kids, and then I want them it's basically it's a music appreciation, and then I have them critique it, and I critically think about the music and what did the song mean to you, and I have a piece of paper where they can write down their answers. I have the kids listen to my music, and I kind of get their opinions on it, and some kids will give thumbs up, thumbs down, a medium. And,
a medium, yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that from my son. Up a thumb sideways. I'm like, I
a lot
never
of
did that growing up.
mediums.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I
gonna
like it a medium amount.
He's gonna be the commander in the Coliseum someday.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Which way is it gonna go? No.
Yeah.
Down. It's my sister. Down.
No.
Mine just
No,
say cringe, Dad. Cringe.
Right.
Cringe,
There you go.
yeah.
Cringe. Yep. That's another
Cringe,
one.
Dad.
Oh my gosh.
We're not
That's
cool
awesome.
for the kids.
So
No.
here's something. I don't know if maybe you guys know this is, and this is not news, or maybe what I'm about to say, I might be slightly off track. Have you guys heard of the Sonic Coast, the radio station?
Yeah, they've been
I
played
think
on
we're
it.
on it.
Yeah,
You
they've been
are.
played
So
on
that's
it.
what I was going to. So maybe, Jeff, I didn't know. Did Brian Maloney discover them and start adding them, or was it something that you threw out there?
No, I think Brian
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I do weekdays 8 to midnight on the Sonic Coast now, and we play a lot of Adaboy,
Nice.
right? And I was thinking, for some reason I thought maybe Jeff had brought it up to him, and say, "Oh, you should start playing Adaboy," but your music fits perfectly with what Sonic Coast does, and it's just awesome. So I love it when it's one of my DJ slots and the next song is an Adaboy song. I'm like, oh yeah, I get to talk about these guys. That's cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
For sure. Shout out to the Sonic Coast.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
There's
they're doing-
so much cool stuff going on in Michigan right now. Like there's bands blowing up. I mean, I don't know if Greta Van Fleet. They're only
right.
half an hour away from Bay City.
Oh, I didn't
Like
know
they
that.
grew up in Frankenmuth.
Frankenmuth.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And
I just
so there's
yeah.
a lot of great
Yeah.
music that
I know it's hard to, it's getting to the point where I thought I knew what was going on in Michigan, and every day there's something new, and it's hard to keep up with. I mean, it really is. There's a lot of great music, and it's like even you guys. Okay, I didn't know about you guys 2 years ago when we started this thing, and every day we're finding something new out there, or maybe every week, whatever. New music. We've been doing these weekly playlists. It's a great way to find new music, but it's like overwhelming at times. It's like, oh my gosh, okay, there's another group. And it's not just, hey, I just found this person that's, doing their own little thing now, and it's okay. No, it's good music.
Good quality stuff.
And you talk about, so you've got Greta Van Fleet that blew up, right? But you got Gasoline Gypsies at Port Huron. You got Myron Elkins. You got Billy Strings, which was another big one.
Yeah.
But then you got the American Hotel System on the west side. You've got, I mean, we can go on and on and on about all these groups, and it's fun. And people don't, unfortunately, or fortunately, not enough people know about it. And that's what we weren't trying to do, to get the word out. And there's a lot of forces behind it in Michigan. There's a lot of people that are trying to help get the word out. But I want to see the Vault, for example, sold out with local bands, every weekend. It'd be great. Every venue in the state, there's a lot of great venues, a lot of places to go see music, and there's people going, but let's get them full. Let's give the best energy to these bands like yourselves, so you guys can play to a full house every time you go out.
We need to get Adaboy and Garner Rapids to play at the Pyramid Scheme.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That play.
You know somebody?
I kind of sort of. We've been like, I used to work right next door to it. My desk that I sat at was on the other side of what the stage is. So there was a wall between us. So Thursdays at 4:00, I hear a kick drum getting set up. And I'm like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
awesome. And all my coworkers like, oh, tell them to shut the hell up. And I'm like, no, this is badass, man. This is so cool. So I got to know the general manager over there over time, but I haven't been working at that place in several years now. But we've been there, and I've bumped into Jeremy, the general manager. But I didn't have a good time to like start talking to him about stuff. But I would like to. So
Sure.
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
we
Hey,
actually want
Jeremy,
to get
let's
an interview.
go, man.
Yeah, we will. We'll hook up. We'll hook
Yeah.
you guys up as soon as we have a way to do that. We want to get them on for an interview and interview someone at the.
There's a
Pyramid.
good venue in Muskegon called the Starlight Room.
They just closed too. They closed June 1st.
Oh, you know what?
I forgot to tell
I did
you.
see that. I did
What?
see that.
There was an article I just read the other day. I read it on Sonic Coast. They just closed down for a number of different oddball issues.
Oh,
I
did
know.
not hear that. That's
I know.
that's a bummer.
That's a whole
because that's
20 minutes.
where we had Robbie Fisher from
Yeah.
Dogtown Studio on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he does the
We
live
recorded with
sessions.
Robbie.
Mm.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great
I
guy.
know that.
We
Awesome
went down
guy.
there. Yeah.
We
last
had him
year.
on a month ago. He was over here.
But he was doing the recordings of those shows up there, and so
Okay.
it was a cool deal.
We should ask him about what happened. Yeah.
Dang, man.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I didn't get to ever go there. You went there, didn't you?
Yeah, I went and got.
Yeah, I didn't ever even go. They were only around for a year.
Well, we'll scratch that.
Yeah,
that's,
well.
that's a bummer. Anyway,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of great places to play. You guys, you said you had like 40 gigs this year so far, or lined up or whatever. Where are you
Sure.
guys playing? What's like your mix? Are you playing a little bit out of state, a little bit in state? What's kind of the?
It's all in Michigan, except for like obviously July 8th we have the private showcase
Yeah.
in Nashville. But as far as like gigs in July, July 12th we have a hometown gig in Saginaw where it's at a place called Friday Night Live downtown Saginaw at the Morley Plaza. It's we're opening for a Billy Joel tribute.
Cool.
Nice.
So that's a local thing. So we normally get a pretty good showing when we play in town.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool. As far as other things go, July 26th will be at the 702 bar in Midland. That's more of like a full night. They have a little outdoor stage in the back.
Cool.
Okay.
That's where we play like the mixture of covers and originals.
Yeah.
That
makes
kind of
sense.
thing, like to fill the night.
Yeah.
But that's essentially how we've been funding the recording is doing
nice.
that, between the merchant, like being able to, help pay for the merchandise and help pay for, getting studio time, paying, engineers and hired musicians, anything like that. That's where the booking comes in. So like we've cultivated a list of songs that people know, but it's also not something you're typically going to hear like your typical top 40 cover band just go out and play all the time.
Yeah.
Just to kind of try and make it a special night.
Yeah. So what? Give me a little couple songs here, a few mixes.
Okay,
Like, what do you guys cover?
Covers that you're gonna do. Yeah.
So like we
read that.
They're all
we
listed
go-
out right there.
anywhere from like Somebody Like You by Keith Urban to Madness by Muse.
Yeah.
We do Sunday Morning by Maroon 5.
Yeah.
We do a
Thunder
Beatles
Island.
Thunder Island by Jay Ferguson. We do what else is there? Tom Petty. I Won't Back Down. Time by Pink Floyd.
Beatles.
It's the Beatles
Frickin'
medley.
A.
We do Drive My Car into Don't Let Me Down into While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
The romantic.
That's one of the best.
the
While My
Romantics.
Guitar-
Talking in Your Sleep by the Romantics. That's another one.
Cool.
Lovely Day by Bill Withers. I mean, that we could keep going, but it's
Dang.
like I said, these are tunes that like, people know,
Yeah.
and they're feel good songs. They're songs that people know and they can have a good time to, but it's not, again, you're not running around and it's no offense to these guys that do this, but we're not playing Jesse's Girl and all this other stuff all over the place.
That you would expect
Mustang
to hear.
Sally.
Yeah, that you would expect to hear from a cover band at a bar. Like
exactly.
you would expect to hear those songs.
And then do you guys intertwine your songs? Do you play a couple covers, then your songs, a couple covers,
Perfect.
instead of just like, hey, I'm going to play at the start of the night to get guys. You guys are always mixing in.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
all
cool.
the way through the
like
night.
That. I like that a lot because, I feel like sometimes it gets like your music gets set to the side for the night, and you might play a couple, but you're really playing mostly covers. And I love how you guys are mixing in your music. And some people might be like, what'd you guys cover there earlier?
Yeah.
Hey,
They thought it
guess
was a
what? That's
cover
our own
song,
stuff.
but it was one of yours.
Oh, really? I really like that one. Like, so then they hook on right to your music.
It's happened actually.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I believe with the song Kansas City, that these guys brought to the table for a cover song by the New Basement Tapes. Is that correct how you say it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The New Basement Tapes. My wife had never heard that song, and before I had joined the band, we went and saw these guys play, and they played that song, and I'd never heard it either. And we just thought it was the original song by Adaboy.
Nice.
And then when I finally got in the group and they told me who wrote it, I was like, wow, see, you're doing it,
Yeah.
That's great.
That's cool.
It blended well with the original tunes.
Yeah.
So not only are the songs similar in feel and whatnot, they're placed well together too. So it keeps it interesting, I feel.
Yeah, good mix. Good
Yeah.
balance.
For
right?
sure. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we do a lot of popular hits from different eras, but one artist particularly we haven't done yet. We don't do any Rupert Holmes.
It's true. That's an inside joke, by the way.
I was gonna say I'm not familiar.
You are actually familiar. He's the guy that wrote "Escape," which is the Pina Colada song.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. No,
I just
he's
didn't know
also
him by name.
yeah. He also does. There's a song called "Answering Machine" that you've probably never heard, but you should look it up. It's pretty good.
Okay, I will.
Yeah,
Machine.
the hook is like, "I'm so sorry you have just reached my answering machine." Like it's like
I like it.
it's like total 70s like Cincinnati WKRP era,
Yeah,
that
okay, fair
kind
enough.
of thing, So like,
That's hilarious.
I haven't heard
guys-
that show name in a long time.
I guess Beatles fits into this, but do you guys play any 50s, 60s music? Because I feel like, what's the song? Red Bright Burns? Is that
Red Burns Bright?
Red Burns Bright? Yeah.
Red
That
Bright.
one, I feel like the start of that gets me back to that sound
Kind
back
of
in
that
the 50s,
doo-wop.
60s. But it doesn't, the whole song's not that way necessarily.
Right. It's pretty heavy in the chorus.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't know if you guys played any covers back then.
No, maybe
I'm trying to
California Dreamin' is
the
kind of
Mamas and
old.
the Papas.
Mamas and Papas.
Okay. Yeah.
We do that.
Cool.
There's a good punk cover of that one that I remember listening to in the 90s.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. Punk. Yeah.
Was it Me First in the Gimme
Yeah, it
Gimmes?
was me. I was just thinking of who it was. I'm like, who is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It was Me First in the Gimme Gimmes. You got it.
That's a cool
awesome.
name.
Heck yeah.
Got some
You guys
Chris
have your-
Stapleton on the list there too.
Chris Stapleton, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What songs do you play?
We do a couple. You Should Probably Leave. We've also done Millionaire. We have, Tennessee Whiskey like in the back
Yeah.
pocket,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Cool. Do you guys have your show dates listed on your website?
Yes,
Yes.
we do.
Perfect.
www.adaboymusic.com. ADABOY.
All right, quick round robin. What you don't have to name the bands. You can name the bands if you want that you've been in the past, like projects. But what kind of music was your bands or your different projects a part of?
Aside
Okay.
of Adaboy.
Yeah, Son of Adaboy. I'm really interested in knowing. You guys can mention the name of the bands if you want. If you don't care to. But just what was the music and kind of the background there? Joe, boom, you first.
Okay. So starting out, like when I was 15 years old, that's when I first started playing in clubs, and I just kind of did a solo thing, like playing other people's music. I didn't really, and so I kind of cultivated myself into the cover world, essentially. And as that time went on, I joined another original band. I formed one in high school. We were called the Consolation Prize, typical like hardcore grunge punk.
Mhm.
Moving into a ska band. I was a trombone player. That's what I went to college for.
Nice. Nice.
And so I played with a band called Nothing for Something. Big Brother Smokes was like if you took Incubus, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Sublime and like shoved them all into like a melting pot, that's what we were.
That sounds legit.
And then moving forward, I did I was in a funk cover band for quite a while. I played with another punk band called the Mongrels. And then I'm here with Adaboy. That's kind of like a condensed history, but I've been playing music basically professionally since I was 15 years old.
Is there any
And I'm-
trombone in Adaboy ever?
There will be
Ooh.
All right.
nothing's
Nothing's off the table.
I love
Nothing's
a little,
off the table.
I
Yeah.
love a little horn. Yeah, give it.
Hmm.
All right.
Who's next? Aaron, you go.
Well, like Mike was saying, when we first met, I was a drummer. I was a singing drummer. Played drums when my parents built their first house on paint cans, about 6 years old, and that's where it started. And I started a band called grindcore. I don't know if you're familiar with the genre of music, grindcore.
I definitely am.
So we spelled it differently. So, you know, we could kind of try to fool people, but every time you'd be like, hey, have you heard of grindcore? Everybody would say yes. So we're like, yeah. You know, they know the band, even though they have no idea what the hell we're talking about.
You were cheating.
Yeah, we were trying to get in there, little brainworms, you know? So that was kind of pretty aggressive, heavy, Slipknot-y, Slipknot, Tool, Korn, with hints of like Primus, strangely.
Okay.
We could talk about this kind of music all day long, my friend.
Yeah.
This is
right
really
up my hardcore,
alley.
singing, screaming. I used to do a lot of the just straight guttural screaming stuff for years. I did that for 15, 20 years almost, probably. But did that, and then after that, I started a band called Everyday Ghost with a couple buddies from town, and I still dabble in that, but it's mostly been recording lately. And we haven't played too many live shows in the last 5 years or so. But we still get together, we still record, we still hang out, we talk, share life experiences, and enjoy each other's company and all that stuff. And we're best friends. So, and they're really supportive now for me being an Adaboy, which is crazy because, you know, it's like hanging out with somebody else's girlfriend, you know?
Yeah, right. They didn't feel like they were losing you.
Yeah.
Hopefully
At first, everybody put their, you know, their shields up, but then once they realize that, hey, it's just music, and music's supposed to be fun, and so
cool, good.
But I did some solo stuff by myself. I put a couple albums out. Did some recordings with a world-renowned drummer from Italy named John Macaluso. He played with Yngwie Malmsteen back in the day.
That's cool.
And he toured with them and George Lynch and
Dang.
TNT, Power Mad, all these speed thrash European style bands. So
I know.
I've been kind of a studio guy for a while, and then here we are, Adaboy.
All right.
Kick ass.
Vince,
Vince, how about you?
Oh, I've played in an R&B band.
Ooh.
With Tracy Triplett, and I played thrash metal music in a band called Buzzard.
Metal.
Played
Meta.
country music and Christian music.
Okay.
And a tribute band, a Tesla tribute band.
That's sweet.
Oh, Tesla.
So you probably play, you know how to play signs, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's one of the staples. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you got a lot of good deep cuts on that band.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. And Adaboy.
Dang, that is quite the, you kind of hit all the corners of genres.
Yeah, I mean,
that's spread out.
Thrash, Christian, Tesla, and R&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
you're well-rounded, Vince.
Makes a good suit.
Yep. So speaking of R&B, have you heard of the artist Her, Her?
Yes.
Like I don't know how I stumbled. I know she's fairly popular. Everything. I don't listen to R&B music ever, but some song came on and I'm like, holy smokes, this song is freaking fantastic. And I can't off the top of my head, I can't think what it was. So I started getting into her. I'm like, this is legit. And I knew that there were different instrumentalists in R&B, especially recordings, but you know, in a band. But then her playing, you know, guitar or whatever, and I'm just like, dang, this is cool R&B. Like, I get this. This makes sense. It's just really legit. So that just made me think of that. That's cool.
Yeah, she's a great guitarist.
Yeah.
That makes me think. There's an English artist. Her name is Celeste, Celeste. I discovered her probably, I think January or February. So if you're not familiar with her already, go ahead and check her out. And
Celeste.
and
Okay.
what you think?
Yeah, I will definitely will. That's cool. Thank you. Okay, Mike, now you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a band nerd.
Yeah.
You know, all through high school, you know, I was just in band. You know, I played varsity sports too. And so I kind of dipped my toes in both of that. I played one year of college basketball.
Ooh.
Where did you play?
At Delta
Okay.
College,
Yeah.
in the area. So I always kind of had my feet in both worlds, and once I got into high school, junior or senior, I didn't play my varsity year in basketball. And so I said, well, music is my direction. And I knew that I wanted to, because what Adaboy is, it's a platform for mental health. And so I knew that I wanted to combine my passion for helping kids and also my music. And so music education seems to be the obvious choice. But I always knew that I wanted to write music. My first cover band in my 20s was a Leonard Skinner tribute band.
Cool.
And so I was playing drums and singing with that group.
Okay.
And then I played with them for probably like 10 years. And really and then I had Recycled Youth. That was my first original band. And we were kind of like that was the time during like grunge rock was really it was like
Youth.
Kurt
I like
Cobain.
That. Yeah, I like that name.
So that was my first band, and then the cover band was a band called Southern Breeze.
Oh.
And then and then that's been Adaboy. I mean, it's been kind of like my main focus. So I don't have as many bands as the other guys do.
When you played in the band in high school, what was your instrument?
Percussion.
It was okay. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was a drummer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super.
And you don't play drums now in the band?
Not in this group. No, I mean, we talk about one day when we're on a big stage, that
Switching it up.
we have time to, because I'm a lefty.
Oh, nice.
And Aaron's a righty, and so I've always had this dream of like setting up this big drum set where we play off the same hi-hat. And then we have like this big epic drum solo,
That'd be sweet.
That's doable.
So,
pull some cues from Slipknot. You can get 2 different types of drum sets in there, and cool, awesome.
Get you a beer keg up there, Mike, and a ball bat.
Yeah, there you. That's basically right. Cool. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys talked about going to Nashville. What's the kind of a timeline of your next single or next couple singles? Like what's coming down the pipe this year? And you guys already mentioned some of the shows that are coming on. So anything else?
Yep. August we'll be releasing our the third single called New Strings. And we haven't actually finalized what song we're going to release as our fourth, but that'll probably be in the fall.
Okay. And is it good? Well, when you're going down to Nashville and doing these recordings, do you have a set of songs that you guys have planned that you guys are hitting on, I assume? And how many songs do you guys have planned to try to record down there?
What do you think, Vince?
We're looking at 4 to 5 songs this trip down.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Dang. How long will you stay down there to do that?
I think we're staying 3 or 4 days. 4 days.
Yeah,
Mike?
we're leaving the 11th, I believe, aren't we?
Okay.
I think that's
to come home. Yeah, 2 days in the studio.
Okay.
To record, and then we're literally leaving the next day because we got to be back for the 12th to play in Saginaw.
Yeah. Well, you guys must know what you're doing if you're being efficient with your studio time and exactly what you're trying to accomplish. I guess that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah,
no
we're
pressure,
pretty
right?
well rehearsed.
Yeah. You're not blowing it all partying and being late and showing up hungover and all that stuff. So, hey, like I said, you're exuding excellence. Good job.
I'm speaking from experience that life is for the birds. So,
So I want to kind of round back to the conversation at the beginning, which was, okay, now we're releasing singles every 5-6 weeks, whatever it is, right? And then we're going to make an album. The one thing I forgot to ask earlier was, so you're going to put these singles together, right? Is there any thought process when you're putting the singles out that these songs all make sense to go together?
So speaking from my opinion, I feel like they do because they all deliver a positive message.
Okay.
If you delve into the lyrical aspect of it, each song, it cultivates a different said situation and or metaphorical reference or whatever, what have you, but it's relatable to everyone. Vince spoke earlier on music that is timeless, right? So not only does the music touch on so many different areas, but it can relate to somebody. It can relate to just about everybody in that aspect because of the mix. But also, I think the message is what unifies all of it.
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'll just get used to listening to the singles in order of release, just because that's how I'll do things until the album's out. I'll just pretend it's all on an album.
I want more.
You guys should come out to Styx.
Well,
yeah, man.
So that's the one. I think I
Ludington.
might be up there camping. I think I'm going to be in Pentwater because you said
Oh,
Ludington,
yeah.
right? Didn't you say Ludington?
Let's
I think I'm going to be
go.
right there. I think I'm going to be right there. I'm 90% sure I will be there.
And I'm going to be
That's
on the
cool.
other coast that week.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
But you guys are going. Aren't you guys playing Oscoda Rockfest?
Yes,
we are. So-
Oh yeah. Maybe that's when we.
I
could-
might have to take an extended leave for Labor Day weekend because I'm always up in Oscoda. My parents have a place up there, and Labor Day we go up to all the holidays, and Labor Day we'll be up there. So I might have to extend it because it's that
Ooh,
weekend after.
Yeah,
And
this is our
I've
second
heard
time.
about Rockfest for the last 3 years, and I'm like, God, I always go home, and I'm like, am I going to drive 4 hours to get back up there? So that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Right next to the water this year.
Oh, is it?
Right,
Where-
right downtown Oscoda. Yeah.
Oh, they're
super
doing.
cool.
Are they doing it right there on the beach? The downtown.
Yeah. It's called Furwell Park.
Oh yeah, right. Paul Bunyan's
Yeah,
right there.
Yep.
All
That whole
Bunyan,
open
yeah.
block right there. It's gonna be.
Yeah, that's a great spot.
Nice.
Yeah, and like what's
Yeah.
what's cool about that weekend is that's a 2 for a weekend for us too, because there's another the D Street Foundation puts on a thing every year called Parkapalooza, and some friends of ours are actually heading that up now. So that'll be the Sunday right after that. So we're gonna play in Oscoda and then come back and play in Saginaw the next day.
Oh really?
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bang bang.
Heck yeah.
Warriors.
Yeah. Out of all these, you'll see us.
Make
We'll
sure make sure all your roadies are really ready to go.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
What's that?
We got
Oh,
two of them
exactly.
right here.
Exactly.
Look at. I was gonna say you guys got some worn, torn hands from doing all this stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
I'll be
that makes it
ready.
even better.
Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Yes.
It's been a great,
Yeah,
great
thank you, guys.
conversation. Where
Thank you.
can everybody find Adaboy?
Adaboymusic.com. ADABOYMUSIC.
And there is an exclamation point in your name, which my son was very curious about. He still
Oh,
calls
yeah.
it a question mark. He's like, Adaboy question mark. I'm like, no, bud, it's an exclamation point. So
That's good. See, we're
learning.
helping your kids with ELA.
You are. Thank you. Thanks, Teach. You're doing a good job. All right. Yes, we look forward to seeing you soon, live and in concert. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the Mitten.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so much.
Guys. Rock and roll.
Right.
Okay.
If you enjoyed this episode, check out more episodes on any streaming service out there today, as well as our website.
www.themittenmusic.com.
You can also find playlists and concert listings there too.
Check us out on social medias, Facebook and Instagram.